Okay, so if you are the DP, you are in charge of the camera department. You are going to be helping all of the camera operators get their camera set up. You will also be the one telling the camera operators what shots they're going to do. So if the first AD or director said, hey, we want a 2-shot and 2 over the shoulders, you have to actually tell the camera operators, hey, George, you're going to do the 2-shot, and Adam, you're going to do the over the shoulder of Professor Skittles, and Sally, you're going to do the over the shoulder of Mrs. Skittles. And so they know what to do. Then you help them get into those positions. So we have the 2-shot here. You can look at what they've got set up, and then see if you can get a better composition. If you have time, that's great. Maybe we want to be a little bit more zoomed in, but you can't zoom in so much. Check to make sure they're not cutting off heads, because that's not a good thing. So we're gonna zoom back out a little bit. And that looks pretty good. So there's our 2-shot, and then I have the 2 cameras set up for over the shoulder. So we have that one over there that's going to be the shot of Mrs. Skittles, and then this one is going to be our over the shoulder shot of Professor Skittles. You do not have to necessarily see the shoulder in the shot, although you do kind of see it in this one. The main goal is you're really getting a close-up of that person's face, or a medium close-up, that's fine too. So once everybody's set up and you feel like the shots are good, then you're waiting pretty much for the rolling call to start. And once the rolling call has started, you do have a really important job. You need to be behind one of the cameras. The director should be behind one of the cameras, and the first AD should be behind one of the cameras. So you have a second set of eyes, but you're behind one of the cameras, and you are also, once all of the camera operators have said camera speed, and the second AC has gone in and done the clapboard, as soon as they have flipped their screens back around, okay, then they need to, the camera operator should be looking, making sure everything's good and giving you a thumbs up. A lot of times you'll have one that forgets. So you have to just say, so-and-so, George, thumbs up, like, is it good? And then if you got thumbs up from all 3, that's when you say camera set. And that allows the director to call action. So that's a very important job not to forget. When you're done filming and you're the DP, then help the camera operators get all of the camera equipment put away. You could find a tripod bag and say, hey, I'll put your tripod up. Just take the plate off and hand them the camera and let them do that. When you think everything's done, you need to go and check. Are all cameras returned? Are all the tripods back? Are all the SD cards back? Okay, so think about tripods. Probably the most difficult part people have working with tripods is the tripod plate. So if when you get a tripod, it should have a tripod plate on it. This plate is what gets connected to the camera. To remove the tripod plate, you have to loosen a knob so that it will slide back and forth. And then you have to also, I'm gonna try to get this closer, make sure that you press on this button right here, and that removes this thing that will not let the tripod plate off. So that's called a quick release plate. And then to put it back on, you have to press that button again, and you have to slide it in place. Now, right now it moves back and forth, but it won't come off because the button has not been pushed. Once you have it in the place where you want, you would tighten that side thing so it doesn't slide back and forth. So one of the things you want to focus on is just getting this tripod plate onto the camera. Please make sure when you're finished at the end of class that you remove the tripod plate from the camera. Don't leave it on the camera. Make sure it gets back on the tripod. Okay, so once you've checked out your camera, make sure there's at least 1 extra battery in there so that if your battery dies, you'll have a fresh battery. To attach the plate, the important thing you need to make sure of is that you're putting the camera on so that it is facing away from the tripod. So the way you put the plate on is pretty important. So the handle, which comes like this, and then you pull it out and tighten that. The handle is at the back. So that means you want the front of the camera this way. That way you are in the back, and when you're panning, the camera lens is pointing out. Well, there's this little metal part right here that has to line up correctly with the tripod plate. So the tripod plate has this, what I call a tread, and so it has to line up with that metal part. Okay, so right now it would line up if it was on this way. That means that the camera is going to need to go on this way. Okay, you're going to attach the camera to the plate using either a coin or a washer to make sure that it connects. So I put the screw into the bottom of the camera, which is called the tripod socket, and then I use the coin or the washer to tighten. Don't over tighten, just tighten enough that it's not wobbly. Very important that it's not wobbly here. Okay, and then once you've done that, you simply put the camera back on the tripod, tighten this part, and then how tall do you want your tripod to be? Okay, there's lots of different ways to extend your tripod. I am going to show you one way, which is that to go ahead and hold it like a baby, and then as you turn it, just unlock the top right here and slide it down. If it gets stuck a little bit, come find me, because this one right here is jammed, which means I have to try and fix this. There we go. Now, I did fix it, but anyway, sometimes that happens. All right, let me go back. All right, so I am extending all of these. Then you think, is this tall enough? Most of the time it's not. Most of the time you want the tripod to be a little bit closer to shoulder level, eye level, something like that. So one option is, while it's still all closed up and not open, go ahead and extend one, but don't lock it. Then as you're doing it, you slowly lower and go, okay, that's the height that I want, and then you can lock it in place. Okay, now I have one leg that is sticking out and the others are shorter. But if I just hold it like this, then I can let the other legs fall and they're the exact same length. So there we go, and now you have the tripod ready to go.